Hey, what's up? It's Leo at your service. First of all, I have to be honest with you guys. If my voice sounds a little off, it's because I have been sick and I'm still recovering, but I want to get this video churn going dahil napaganda ng ating discussion, especially going off of last week's videos. I'm talking about our discussion on the greatest XP laners and gold laners of all time in the history of MPL Philippines. This next video is by popular demand. Ang daming yung nag-comment. Real quick, let me run him through here and here, or wherever they may show up. Raydai, Twilight, John Mark Rosales, Inugami Caez, Enrico de la Cruz Z, U1, Leo Martaginod, and Tiffany Bautista. That's just some of the few, and there are many, that commented on our videos here on YouTube. Please click subscribe if you haven't yet. A lot of you guys have been asking for me to talk about the next role. Who do we think are the greatest in these roles? One role that actually came up that I want to tackle now are the roamers, previously called the tanks. I want to talk about the greatest roamers in the history of MPLPH dahil sila yung backbone ng team. I think a lot of championships have been lost and won off of the back of amazing roamer play. And there are many different kinds of roamers. And in this video, I have 4 honorable mentions and 3 that actually I believe, for me personally, are in the running for the greatest of all time. Okay? Now, bakit 4 yung honorable, tas 3 yung top 3? I don't know. It's my list. Make your own. Put it in the comments, alright? First off, let's talk about my first honorable mention, Yelly Hayes. Now, I get it. Mr. Bataanon is currently a mid laner for Next Play EVOS, but he started his career as a tank. And napakadaming highlight plays ni Hayes, sa totoo lang. And I think that's what makes him such a great role player, not just a mid laner, but also not just a roamer, but a role player in the team, is because his game sense, his IQ for Mobile Legends Bang Bang, for gaming as it is, through the roof. For me, yung talaga nag-stick sa kanya is yung Cho niya. Siya isa sa mga naunang nagpauso ng tank Cho. So si Iron Legs, ang tawag sa kanya nun. Or at least I started to call him Iron Legs when he would pick it up every now and then. And that really was role defining. So my first honorable mention, Yelly Hayes. Next up, another honorable mention is someone who's not currently active in the MPL right now in Season 10. I'm talking about Mr. Fundamental. Talking about Heath. We last saw him Season 9 with RSG PH, and he finally won a championship. Even as a sub player, he didn't get there just by, again, coasting, alright? When he was part of an active roster, for the most part, Omega, SGD Omega, yan. Heath was a monster. There's a reason why they called him Mr. Fundamental. The way he plays his role, it really set up those check boxes. It really made the grocery list. Siya nagsulat ng grocery list, or a majority of it, that set the path for a lot of the players in this list alone, in my list personally. So, Mr. Fundamental, Heath, the fundamentals, he built upon it. I mean, he wasn't the first, pero napaka-solid ng gameplay niya, napaka-sound, and he deserves this honorable mention. Next up, another honorable mention. We saw him just last week, week 3, and he was part of the panel. I know you know who we're talking about. It's Mr. Intersection. It's Mang Kwepweng. I'm talking about the 2-time champion, Rafflesia. Now, he was last seen with Echo in Season 9, not in the active roster, but best believe in his heyday, in his prime. Guys, alam nyo naman, Season 4, Grand Finals, that moment, the arrival play, Kufra, that was Rafflesia. That was Rafflesia. And not just that, he's also capable of playing many other tank roles, tank heroes. He had even like a little stint playing a side lane in Season 7 to fill in as a multi-role. Again, sobrang genius ni Rafflesia, and it shows up not just in his mechanics, but even in the way he plays. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he could come back. I don't want to put any ideas in anybody's minds, but I think Rafflesia still got it. So ayun, he's in my honorable mentions for greatest of all time roamers. Last but not least, in our honorable mentions, this one's a rather young pick, and I might get some flack, but this is why it's up for discussion. Honorable mention, greatest roamers of all time for me, personally for me, is Light of RSG PH, Season 9 champion and MSC champion. Okay, here's one of the reasons why, besides his accolades and besides his highlight reel, TikTok plays, I know his genius from the back. I know his genius from within. I was his coach in his debut season in Season 7, technical coach, analyst, whatever. Was working with Lyft back then. And dun palang alam namin na sobrang talino ni Light, sobrang talino ni Unravel, sobrang kayang-kaya niya kahit sino halos in mid. One of our few weaknesses back then was Brenny Sports. I don't know why, foreshadowing, but the way Light plays the game, he understands it on a level that his teammates do as well. Kaya gets niya. Sobrang lethal ng combo nila ni RTZ or ni P-God, later known. And they could go 2v4, 2v3. And then the other members of Work or TNC back then could take other things in the map. Ganun kagaling si Light. So he's here as an honorable mention for me in my GOAT roamers. And now this brings us to my proper top 3. And for this I have to take off my because things are about to get spicy, okay? My first pick for top 3 is crowd favorite, does not have an MPL championship to his name quite yet, but he's an MSC champion, you know I'm talking about. It's the Mamba himself, Shaq Mamba. Shaq Mamba forever. Yeah, so it's very clear. I mean, you could literally make like an hour-long video of just Shaq Nu's highlight plays ever since his debut, and that would be enough. That would be enough. The thing is, in his debut season alone, well, to be fair, Execration has always been on top, or at least part of the upper echelons of MPLPH. Again, that's the reason why. You can never count out Shaq Nu. There's never been a season where Shaq Nu failed to prove himself. I can look back at seasons like Season 7, Season 8, wherein he would play heroes that aren't exactly the setter type tanks or yung mga catch, like a Kufra or like a Cho. Dun natutong magpopolin Kupa at mag-Rafaela si Shaq Nu. And it worked. Homie even knows how to play an Angela Season 9 now. It's so good. I think that really cements himself, at least for me personally, in the GOATs of all time when you're talking about roamers. That's the Mamba. Next up, I mean, nabanggit ko na kanina, isa sa mga weaknesses ni Light or ni Unravel at the time was the roamer matchup of him versus the roamer of Brenny Sports. I'm talking about Lusty. SEA Games gold medalist, MPL champion 2 times with 2 different teams, M2 world champion. I mean, I might be missing a few accolades here, but Lusty is legit. Lusty is... There are times where in Season 7, again, I have to call back to my time as a coach with work. Mind you, never ko kinast yung mga sarili naming laban, so this was before any of that. But again, this is the reason why he was so amazing. He was so great to me is I would watch the map, I would watch the game, study it, and I'm like, paano niya nahanap yung posisyon na yun? And I'm talking about his Cho. Yung almost immortal Claude ni SD, ni Chu at the time. Very few people can find it. Very few people can actually put a bead on where the BMI was and then finish the job. His Cho always found a way, and that's just one of many. That's Lusty's Cho. He was also pretty solid on the roamer Popol and Kupa at the time. He plays a solid Kufra. Lusty, I think if Lusty still wanted to, he could still kick some ass right now. The reason why he's grinding it out in the amateur scene right now is because he still has something in him. So I believe he's GOAT worthy. For that alone, and for the many accolades he's had, I mentioned, I don't know, fight me. Lusty's in my GOAT list. Don't fight me, please. I know you respect and love Lusty too. So he's my number 2 in the top 3, not in any particular order, GOATs of all time in the roam role. And last but not least, there's only one more left. And again, not in any particular order, but there's only one roamer left for me to talk about. And I'm sure you're shouting at me 3 or 4 different names. Pero isa na lang ang pwede kong pag-usapan dito, at least for me, personally. Of all the greats, of all the amazing players in MPLPH history that I can name my GOAT in Rome, there's only one queen. There's only one queen! Of course. It's the prime shot caller in all of, I'd argue, esports history. At least in recent history. I don't know, personal experience. Again, this is my list. I'm talking about Oh My Venus. Oh My Venus, I can list out the accolades, but it would take like half this video. But jokes aside, again, you know why. Yes, very, very specific and very, very, how do I say, tailored hero pool for John Marvilla Luna, but the Queen really deserves this accolade, or at least to be in this spot. If may number one dun sa top 3 ko, I have a strong feeling Oh My Venus can take it. But again, I'd rather not, because being the GOAT roamer has different connotations. And even for me personally, on a good day, I might have to put people in different slots. But yeah, Oh My Venus, shot calling, prowess, game sense, game feel, synchronization with teams. I mean, Onic, the OG Onic, now Blacklist. I mean, parang plug and play. It's the same story with Lusty for me personally. It's the same story with Lusty. Same story with Light. Light kicked ass in his debut season. And now Light is a multi-title champion with RSG. It's another team completely. So again, these roamers, with them being the backbone of the team, synergy, game IQ, game sense, communications really play a key role in this role, for the lack of a better word. And I think that is the reason why I'm naming these 3. Oh My Venus, Lusty, and Chakno as my top 3, and then the aforementioned honorable mentions. How about you guys? Sino ang nasa inyong greatest of all time roamers for MPL Philippines? Put it in the comments. Please subscribe. Check me out on my socials at LeoCastsPH. And again, those who comment here could be featured in my next video. With that being said, peace.